Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mike Elko, the Texas A&M Aggies, continuing to fill it up in the 2025 class, landing another commitment from four-star wide receiver Kelshaun Johnson from the state of Texas. And you take a look at Kelshaun Johnson, where you want to start is the speed that he brings to this Texas A&M offense, a 10-4 guy in the 100-meter dash, one of the fastest wide receivers that you are going to see in this 2025 cycle. And I mean, we've broken down, I think, every single commitment for Texas A&M in the 2025 cycle, and specifically with the wide receivers and cornerbacks, the guys that are operating in space, the guys that are on the boundary for this Texas A&M roster. It's becoming very clear what Mike Elko values, and that's speed. I mean, almost every single cornerback, wide receiver that is committed to Texas A&M has extremely impressive track and field metrics. You look at guys like Adonis Curry, 10.57 in the 100-meter dash. You look at DeJohn Petaway, a 10.7 in the 100-meter dash. Jamar Beal-Groins, a 10.5. Terry Bussey in the 2024 class. Obviously, Cooks, 10.7. Even wide receiver Isaiah Williams with the 10.9. I mean, you start going down the list, it seems like every single cornerback, wide receiver, Ernest Campbell, I throw in him too, didn't commit with Mike Elko, but another speedster joining this roster. You look at Texas A&M and what they are prioritizing, especially on the boundary of this roster. They want speed. And I think Mike Elko's looking at it and saying, hey, give me the fastest players on the football field. I'm going to coach them up to be good football players. That's what they're doing in College Station. And I got to say, I'm a big fan of it because you look at the sport of college football, it is about speed. I mean, it is a height, weight, speed game. And if you have the fastest football players on the field, it gets easy to start doing the things that you want to do. You look at Kelshaun Johnson, you just want these kind of guys within your Texas A&M offense, guys that are dynamic, working vertically down the field, but also are extremely dangerous with the football in their hands. Fired up to get into the film of Kelshaun Johnson. Talk about what he brings to Texas A&M's offense. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Texas A&M fans. I can't thank y'all enough for rocking with the fellas. It has been a blast talking this program since Mike Elko has taken over. The amount of support that you guys throw in the comment section, that stuff, it means the world to the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Kelshaun Johnson. And again, when you first talk about Kelshaun Johnson, you have to talk about the speed that he has. I mean, he's a kind of guy that if you're an opposing defense, you're a defensive coordinator, you have to respect what Kelshaun Johnson can do working vertically down the field. And that type of stuff shows up on the film. He effortlessly works vertically down the field. He tracks the football exceptionally well. What makes me higher than most on Kelshaun Johnson is what he can do after the catch, because you talk about Kelshaun Johnson, it's not only linear speed that he brings. He is, for lack of better terms, a human joystick with the football in his hand. So not only can he win vertically, you have to put a safety over top. And if you don't, good luck to the cornerback that's trying to deal with Kelshaun Johnson. But if you want to give him the opportunity to get the football in his hand on some underneath concepts, which we all know Colin Klein is exceptionally good at scheming up, this is a guy that can make you miss and hit the explosive play with the football in his hands. So there's so many different ways that you can get Kelshaun Johnson involved in this Texas A&M offense. I think the next step for him is continuing to fill out the frame. I think you would worry about cornerbacks getting their hands on him and kind of jamming him at the line of scrimmage and being a little bit disruptive to his route trees. These kids gain weight as they go into their senior year, go into their college football programs. And Mike Elko's done some really good things in the strength and conditioning program in terms of what it looks like for Texas A&M. So you feel pretty good about Kelshaun Johnson putting on that weight, but I can't teach the speed that he brings. You can't teach the juice that he has as an offensive playmaker. You know, first we're up, you look, you're playing that boundary wide receiver spot again. If you want to hang your safeties like 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, he's going to make it pay. And again, just effortlessly separating vertically down the field. He's a very, very smooth mover. There's not a lot of wasted movement as he's moving on the football field, which you absolutely love. And you continue to work through the film, you just continue to see him attack vertically down the field exceptionally well, separating vertically. You see he's a two-way player as well, playing that defensive back role as well. You kind of just get the sense of being a playmaker and having some good football instincts, going up, making a play on the football. Now, you continue to work through the film of Kelshaun Johnson. One of the things that I love, and you kind of get a sense of it in terms of this return for a touchdown, how he operates with the football in his hands, you're going to see it on the next couple of reps. Again, this is not only a kid that can work vertically down the field. You go back to this play here. We're going to put him in the slot. Two things that I really love about this rep. One, the football IQ in terms of being a quarterback-friendly wide receiver, where he's going to sit it down in zone coverage. You don't see a lot of wide receivers do this, where he's going to throttle it down because he recognizes the throwing window that's present. I'm going to be quarterback-friendly. I'm going to throttle it down and then get the ball in space, and then this is special. Again, he's not just a straight line guy. He is going to make you miss the movement skills that Kelshaun Johnson brings to the table. You can't teach this type of stuff. I mean, making people miss in a phone booth, changing directions. He's a very, very twitchy athlete, which you love in terms of getting him the football in space and just letting him go to work. It gets so easy to scheme up explosive plays when you have these kind of guys that can win in so many different ways. Once again, working vertically down the field, you kind of know that's his calling card. But as you kind of see the film that we just saw in terms of him making people miss with the football in his hands, that's probably what I love most. You get to see it once again. Really knows how to put that foot in the ground, make people miss. And again, if you're taking a bad angle, if you are a safety and you're going to come up, take a bad angle, he is going to run right by you because he's that kind of fast. And you kind of see these straight line speed kind of on full display right here. I'm a really big fan of this get. And you start taking a look at Texas A&M, what they're building in this 2025 cycle. It's a lot of physical traits, right? You have your 5-star quarterback locked up in Hassan Longstreet. You start scrolling down the list. Mike Elko is prioritizing athletes, right? Adonis Curry, 6'1", 170 pounds, runs a 10.57 in the 100-meter dash. Keati Armstrong is just one of those unicorns. I mean, 6'6", 250, plays tight end, could play defensive line, just one of the premier athletes that you see in this 2025 class. I think he's going to play tight end, but this is a guy that I certainly could be seeing playing on the defensive side of the football as well. You scroll down, Noah McKell, Marco Jones, two California kids that are big juiced up athletes. Marco Jones could play the edge spot, could play off-ball linebacker, another premier athlete. You continue to scroll down and just see elite athletes. And then even on the offensive line, guys like Marcus Garcia, track and field background, elite throwing metrics, big-time power in the lower half. Texas A&M's betting on traits. They're not necessarily chasing the flashy 5-stars, which we've seen Jimbo Fisher do in the past for Texas A&M. Now, don't get me wrong. Texas A&M is going to be going after 5-stars, those elite caliber players. I think Mike Elko's sitting back and saying, let me bet on some really premier athletes. We'll get him coached up to be elite football players. I think one guy to keep an eye on from what I'm reading, 5-star safety Trey McNutt. And Trey McNutt was a guy that was trending to Ohio State, then was trending to Oregon. It sounds like Texas A&M is going to have a big push for Trey McNutt. We'll see if they can get that done. And you look at Mike Elko with a guy like Trey McNutt, someone that could play the nickel, could play the safety spot, versatile premier athlete in the defensive backfield. This has Mike Elko written all over. Another 10A guy in the 100-meter dash as well. We'll see how it goes with Trey McNutt committing July 19th. Wanted to update you guys on Kelshaun Johnson and Mike Elko just continuing to collect a ton of speed in this 2025 class. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.